the way High does against Pobelter.
Well, Kalista's already on the ban list along with Morgana, so we won't have any of those roam bindings coming in from either support. And Sneaky's Kalista has been quite strong. Actually, everybody's Kalista is quite strong.
Well, the Kalista is an interesting thing here because I generally see teams ban it or ban around the plan of picking it. Yesterday we saw a Ahri, Vi, and Lissandra ban just so Coast could pick it against CLG. And it had a relatively successful game, but here Winterfox, they need their bans for other stuff. So they're going to throw one ban at Kalista since they don't want to first pick it, since Cloud9 could then pick the counters against it, and then Nidalee is obviously for Meteos.
Well, the support's coming in for Cloud9 to be banned. So they're actually focusing some initiation here and pick potential, I should say, that Winterfox would be putting into their composition. Rumble gets taken out for balls in the top lane. A good ban to get a comfort pick out of there, as well as control for the mid game where Cloud9's been coming up big. And the final ban is Gnar for Avalon here.
Well,
Lissandra open.
This is interesting. Based on how we saw Winterfox win, it was with Lissandra and Kassadin. And Cloud9 saying that they're not going to give them those champions again, it means Cloud9 must pick Kassadin.
Yeah.
Which they do.
Okay. I was going to say, good point. They're giving away the high tier picks they said should not go away. So they rebuttal a bit. They keep it blue. Maokai and Cass getting locked in. We have seen a lot of Graves. Also have seen some Ezreals come around in double AD compositions that float around. So we'll have to see here what Winterfox decides to do. They're actually not told a whole lot with what they see here in Cloud9.
Yeah. The somewhat unconventional thing here, though, is Cloud9 did show both of their solo lanes. Yeah. Normally, if it was a teammate game, we'd wait for the last pick to pick a top laner. Or if it's any other team in the world, they'd wait for the last pick to be mid laner. The only exception to that is when it's an obvious feeling power pick, in which Cloud9 has done this. However, Winterfox can still pick Ahri in the mid lane for Pobelter, and I think that's what they're going to do with their last few picks. So whatever AD carry Sneaky has here, he needs to make sure he has a little bit of mobility so he can juke around potential Ahri charms coming in. It's reading a little bit into it, but I do feel like Ahri is the champion for Pobelter, and Cloud9 should operate under that assumption.
There's definitely a lot of focus on everything but the jungle so far, which is quite interesting since we've seen Jarvan and other junglers getting bans throughout. Obviously, Nidalee is there, who we've seen a little bit and in the mid lane, but it's going to be the Vi again for Meteos picked up, and Sneaky's actually going to go to Lucian. I think that'll be the second time we're seeing him come in here. We already saw Rek'Sai get picked up for Helios.
The Vi serves a couple purposes. I mean, that is what Helios had so much success on yesterday when they defeated Impulse. He was 8-4-17. Not to mention, that's where Meteos has found 3 victories so far this year just for himself.
You're right. There's the Ahri getting locked in, and we saw that giving a little bit of trouble in the Kassadin-Ahri matchup yesterday. Going towards the Kassadin, getting pushed in.
So Winterfox has the composition that they are able to win with. They get power picks, Lissandra, Ahri. Normally you have to first pick an Ahri if you want it on your team, but because the Kassadin was up as well, they were kind of forced into that. So it's a heavy engaged team, which forces Cloud9 now to pick the Janna for disengage. But remember a game where a team picked really heavy engage against Cloud9. They lost it. It's when Gravity beat them because they could continually find the dives. Champion select wise, if Cloud9 was saying they're going to deny Winterfox their stuff, they did not do that here. They would have needed to change their bans pretty heavily. The Gnar and the Morgana would have had to turn into probably a Lissandra ban or even a Kassadin ban, because picking the Kassadin for Cloud9 doesn't give them much, since they still gave up to really powerful solo laners that Winterfox may have picked regardless.
Yeah, they've kind of put themselves into a situation to build around that Kassadin and the picks they wanted just to take away. We even talked a little bit about Gnar not being such a high priority here, but people still putting the ban factor in it. And like you said, Cloud9 may have given up a lot more than they wanted to here in this picks and bans. We're about to get underway. Oh, what a handshake. I mean, 0% awkward.
Fist bump handshake. It's one of those. Just
it's the ball and socket. There it is. Yeah.
That's ready for some League of Legends.
That's
today.
right. So coming in here, obviously, these guys better set the bar high because we're going to have some good league today, like you said. But right now, it is your chance to weigh in on the match. Vote for the team you think will be victorious with the hashtag WFX win or C9 win. We're about to get on the Rift here. Week 4, Day 2, League of Legends action about to be pumped into your eyeballs. Let's get on to the Rift.
Absolutely. I mean, some big winning streaks coming in here. Cloud9, 3 wins in a row after that atrocious 1-3 start.
Yeah.
We've even heard it from the teams that Cloud9 has been scrimming against a lot, TSM and CLG, that they're definitely looking at Cloud9 in that rearview mirror as far as being the top team in North America. But in order to get there, Cloud9 needs to take care of business against these teams. Winterfox coming in at 3-4.
And it's weird to kind of think of where their name is at right now. Everybody's like TSM, CLG, but you just remember Cloud9 is still there.
Yep.
They still have a lot of that power, and they're still one of the top tier teams. Still trying to prove that, though, with a shaky beginning. As they patch things up, the resolve supposed to be that High plays safer in mid. He said that. We'll see if that hurts him against Pobelter in this game. Meteos and Helios.
So it looks like Cloud9 is set up and hoping for the lane swap. It's something that Cloud9 is typically very, very good at, and Avalon has struggled pretty mightily in, seeing as he is quite new to pro play. It could also do well to shut down Avalon early on in Lissandra. If he can never get going, then they only really have to worry about that mid lane threat, not to mention in the lane swaps. Both teams are now more capable of heavily pressuring mid lane, since it's not just the jungler who can gank. The top laner can gank, the support can gank. It can be a big, giant party in mid lane.
We've seen that quite a bit at level 2 over the past few days. It's been a few matched up lanes, so we haven't seen that aggression to the mid. But here, we may be getting that as we see the top laners. Actually, all right, going to match up. So Graves and Leona bot lane. Pobelter entering mid versus High, and we're going to have the lane swap to start this one off.
What? I'm a little confused here. So,
at least I think so.
Yeah.
Are they trying
Avalon
to go for a gank
Avalon
overall?
is in the lane swap lane, yet Altec and Gleeb are taking jungle camps. Either Avalon is going to teleport up, or they're just going to decide to push that lane as quickly as possible. They might be trying for a cheese 3v2 kill right here, where he'd gank from the brush in an early level 2, but I mean, there's nobody here. I don't necessarily know what Avalon is expecting. Maybe he wants to jump on the Maokai here. There'd be no reason for him to be there, so it could actually work, but they're not even setting up for it right now. It's going to be a long time until this 4-man dive works, but it should work. Balls is trapped here without teleport. He's actually dead unless Lemon gets there. Even then, he could be in trouble.
This is
Lemon's got to really hurry.
He does have Storm Shield on, so he only offers the shield, no crowd control. Balls is going to get hit up hard here. He should save his flash. This is going to be tough. He actually tries the flash. He's going to lose that. He'll have the teleport. Actually, that's already down still. They're going to micro the turret shots nicely on this. It took him a while. They do come up with first blood. Can they carry it?
Such a strange level 1 there by Winterfox, but it absolutely pays off with that first blood. LemonNation wasn't able to get down there fast enough, and because Balls teleported there, he could not teleport out once he realized he was done for. That's actually punishing Balls for his early level 2 that Maokai's love to do on the Wraith camp, knowing they have to bring the teleport. And all things considered, that's actually a really great play by Winterfox.
See how they work this out. Hopefully they can all get back to their sorted out lanes and continue to get the XP, because they're all sitting at level 2. It could be tough if Cloud9 finds them at level 3s.
With all that being said, there is a lot of counterplay opportunity by Cloud9.
Okay.
Winterfox is leaving pretty much every single one of their doors open by keeping 4 people on the map this long in the bottom lane, and they were unable to finish the turret. So in the meanwhile, Sneaky's been farming freely, High has not had to worry about gank pressure, and Meteos has been able to counter jungle Helios.
Yeah,
which
pretty hard.
With the first blood going to Altec, that is all well and good, but Cloud9 has responded in turn to even out the gold and still not lose their turret.
Well, we know Cloud9 is a team that knows how to adapt, and this is actually really great to see from Winterfox, that they're trying new things in the early game, as they are a team that needs to climb up in the standings. It's about holding that lead. And right now the kill did go over to Altec. It should be able to help, but the lanes are still swapped, and Sneaky was getting free farm this whole time all to himself.
I'm really interested to see what happens now, only because, you know, we see so many lane swaps, but we don't see lane swap starts quite like that, especially when they're able to net kills and still maybe not even be beneficial with how much Winterfox actually invested in that. You know, Avalon waiting in the brush for so long, the support and jungler taking all that time to go around, and then after the kill, sticking around longer. Yeah. I think may actually be the straw that broke the camel's back for Winterfox's 4-man dive play. since you can see now, what is Avalon actually going to do against a level 5 Sneaky as a level 3 Lissandra who just hit level 3 in that top lane?
Not too much, that's for sure.
Pretty much.
Winterfox maybe, you know, figuring the idea of when Cloud9 has lost in the past. You know, you remember times when Balls was on Rise and he just gets completely pushed out of lane and a team's able to take Cloud9. Maybe they were just going for that in the early game, shut down Balls, kind of get to the heads of C9. Hopefully it works. They put a lot of pressure on it. Right now, it's not working out for Avalon, that's for sure. This is what I was afraid of, is all that resource in one lane.
Yep.
You're just going to lose the other ones, like you said.
It's a 2 CS Lissandra with a Doran's Ring.
2 CS.
Altec doesn't have a CS advantage here. Balls has 24. Like, the kill was good.
Yeah.
The sticking around was not good by Winterfox. So they outsmarted themselves there. They had the first gank that worked wonders and continued on a path that then turned out to be flawed.
We'll see if Avalon does get any help, or he's kind of just left to himself. We have Helios on the top side right now. Could be bad for Sneaky if he gets himself into a poor situation. Looking at that gold.
Oh, no.
Only 400.
Altec just wants the BS sword, man.
He's close. He wants the BF sword to get back with some potions as well. Looks like he's achieved it.
Yeah, the other thing that we're going to need to touch on here, because early game is actually coming out surprisingly in favor of Cloud9 after giving up first blood, mainly because Sneaky versus Avalon is such a lopsided matchup, and Balls has not been set back when all said is done by that gank, because he was able to CS after returning to his lane. But it's more about the way the team fights will play out, because now, if everything was in an even farm environment, the Avalon plus Pobelter could put probably enough pressure onto Sneaky to be able to kill him. But if Lissandra cannot get to that point of farm, just the Ahri diving in there may not be enough, especially against a Maokai and a Vi, two people that can temporarily lock down the Ahri and stop her from dashing. Means Cloud9 will be able to peel away, assuming Avalon cannot farm.
They did leave that Ahri up. Seems like they had a reason for it, that they could lock it down. So not afraid to play against Pobelter's Ahri. But it is good for Winterfox that he is back on an assassin. Saying previously, those Lulus and the likes are not giving Winterfox what they need out of the mid lane. 60-40 on the vote.
We touched on it in the pregame, but Hai is really holding on well against Ahri here. The lane is even. As the Kassadin versus Ahri matchup, it's supposed to be a somewhat even matchup. Kassadin is actually good against a lot of casters, but Ahri should probably win this one, and if not win, be able to shove Kassadin in and roam. But Pobelter has been able to do neither of those things. So therefore, I would consider this a win for Cloud9 actually in mid lane.
Hai is definitely playing stronger, and he's currently lowest at average CS at 10 of any of the mid laners. So going toe-to-toe here with Pobelter, just 2 minutes off, or a minute and a half, means he's definitely putting up a fight. Meteos gets the flash Q on. That's going to be the lockup as well. The ignite is ticking. Will it burn? He cannot stop, drop, and roll, and that one goes over to Hai.
Huge gank right there by Cloud9.
Oh,
that's some more problems.
We said it was coming. It was just a matter of time for Sneaky in top lane, too.
Unacceptable there for Winterfox to leave Avalon on an island up there, or even put him in that situation in the first place. Some nice plays there, and it continues. Cloud9 winning around the map.
Going a little too hard everywhere, and Cloud9 takes advantage of some small mistakes. Every lane gets a kill.
Yeah, and maybe more, because they know Altec is pretty low. Here comes Hai. No, too dangerous.
Exhaust on a little too early. Looks like...
Well, they burned both summoners from Altec, which I would say is worth it. Not really time to analyze those plays, though, because Winterfox striking back.
Sneaky getting close here. He knows he can fight this out. This is what I was talking about, as the top lane gank may not work out for them right away. They are actually forced to use a flash to get that one back in for Avalon.
Yeah, once Helios closed the distance, though, there's no escape for Sneaky. He thought he'd be able to burst a kill down, but the flash prevailed for Avalon. Overall, though, trying to wrap our heads...
That just got explosive.
Yeah, exactly. Meteos getting the Warrior enchantment is big, because we saw glimpses of the lockdown and closing that Vi casting can have on the Ahri. Assuming Meteos can land that initial punch on Vi and then follow up with the Assault and Battery, Vault Breaker 2 Assault and Battery, it's enough damage that just high jumping on the back of it will be a kill.
That's going to hurt. Even with the Ignite down, Pobelter still has to be afraid now. Cloud9 starting to take a nice, let's say, map lead. The gold lead's not really there for them, but they are feeling very sure about taking some of these engagements. Let's see if Sneaky goes anywhere else. He will now start to return to bottom lane after his foray, farming in the top by himself for quite some time. He'll have all this minion wave crashing into him, so he catches back up to Altec with that, and it's pretty much everybody waiting for the dragon here.
Really high value for Winterfox just now. They cleared 3 pink wards within a 15-second spin. That's actually 300 gold worth of investment by Cloud9.
Yeah.
Cleared out just like that. Helios getting 2, and then Gleeb on the roam. They are taking advantage there of the lane swap back that Cloud9 just did, which was a really good play there by Winterfox.
So how tight are things going to get for Winterfox if Avalon cannot get himself going? Pretty much fly in and get exploded.
Pretty tight, honestly. It's more about not so much Lissandra getting exploded because she can become untargetable. It's about people caring about her. If she jumps in and ults herself, but the ult does 15 damage and slows people, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
Needs to have legitimate kill threat when he goes in on Lissandra, and he's a long ways from that.
Well, there is a bit of focus to get Avalon still going. Some brotherly love here from Helios. Again to the top lane. I don't know if they're going to be able to have the damage for balls. Maybe now that Pobelter is coming up. But a ward here already placed in is going to ping them out. Still could be dangerous. He makes the right choice.
Yeah. 2 turrets, though, are going to be going down for Winterfox, which is the long result of the early lane swap where they almost took the turret. Cloud9 needs to prioritize their lanes a little bit here, but they are choosing the dragon.
No.
Pushed off of it, yeah.
Great Void Rush.
The Void Rush was huge right there, but now they may be putting themselves in a compromising position. Let's see how this culling fares.
Oh, AD carry sporting the same amount of damage, but that's a caster to an auto attack carry. Oh, this is going to be big. Helios takes the pop-up, and he can't get in for any more damage. The Monsoon begins to heal some more, and they get out pretty safe. Nobody dies on that one, so we could still have a pretty good fight coming on. Cloud9 is able to pick up the dragon overall throughout that entire back and forth. So it's like they'll take what they got and head out, actually.
I'm amazed that this turret's still at half health in mid lane. I was expecting far more mid lane pressure by Pobelter, especially since that's the second time I've seen high roam down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, it's the first time he didn't get anything out of it and still had his lane.
Yeah. Yes, there was a gank down in their mid lane, but Pobelter, you expect him to do better in this matchup.
Still have some time to go for Winterfox to get back on their feet in this one as they're starting to lose a few turrets, but they also took a few here, so it's not looking too grim. Cloud9 could become very strong here as we get to the fight phase and their pick composition start to come out rather. Bottom turret goes down, and with Dragon being down, it pretty much gates everything to the next fight. We're just going to get camps farmed out. And
we have to watch the item power spikes here as well. Cloud9 has gone with the double Rod of Ages, which is expected on the Maokai and the Kassadin, but those will be charging up for the next 10 minutes. They both pretty much just completed them. Not to mention, if we're just thinking about item power spikes, Pobelter just finished his Abyssal Scepter, which is the item for this point in the game for him if he's going to try fighting the Kassadin and the Maokai. This is the moment, because of those item power spikes, that Winterfox needs to make a play. Or Cloud9 just wants to make it so Pobelter can't make a play. We'll see how this mid lane collapses on the game now with the outer turrets being downed.
Well, making plays and having ways to make them safe is what Winterfox is trying to do. Double Sight Stone, bringing that out quite early, especially onto the Rek'Sai. And actually, Avalon went for Lucidity Boots within his build here. So that's what he's trying to just do for himself. Gleeb, however, goes in, thinking he can find some aggression, or rather get aggressed on as he finds a pink ward to head out.
Cloud9's pink wards are not lasting very long. They're having to invest a lot on it. That's the 4th pink ward kill we've seen on screen.
Good movement from Gleeb.
Yeah.
He's been keeping himself mobile around the map. If he can't get the engage, then he's got to be doing other things, and he's definitely keeping stuff on the list to check off. Avalon now to farm more in this top lane. He is just about 50 CS down right now, so he's got some work to do. Balls all by himself, like we said, stacking those ROAs. And LemonNation is just keeping high, safe in the mid lane. Cloud9 should be happy with the way this early game is going. They're actually able to repair a big folly there that Winterfox put onto balls.
And now that Cloud9 has finished the turrets in the top and the bottom lane, they should be pushing mid to try and equalize this turret game and get some presence amongst Winterfox's jungle. One thing that is giving them a little bit of grief right now is the fact that Helios has a vast tunnel network within his own jungle, and it's making the ganks somewhat dangerous for Meteos since they can be counter-ganked by the Rek'Sai.
Always says.
I'm expecting a collapse on the mid lane and maybe a big mid lane fight.
Only if it's sure.
Yep.
But with a Rek'Sai ult, you're never sure. We even saw that at the last Dragon. A bit of pressure, actually, from Winterfox towards that Dragon area to make sure they still have vision. And it really is keeping Cloud9 from kind of huddling up here in the mid lane. They don't want to do anything that balls up at this point, it seems.
You can see Cloud9 now starting to get some jungle invading because of the mid lane presence they have. Maybe even the blue buff steal. They're hoping for a fight. They do have teleport onto the Maokai. And it's very important that Gleeb's taken out that ward, actually, because that would have been the Maokai teleport spot if Winterfox had to initiate. Winterfox is making sure that anytime they move up, they can't be teleported in from behind.
Very nice to deny Pobelter the blue buff as well. If they can keep doing that, he's going to have a very hard time at continuously getting these wave cleared with the rest of the team, especially if Avalon's all by himself in the top lane farming. They have, however, get a good aggression back into the mid lane. Looks like Cloud9 just wanted to blue. Small advantages at a time, not trying to take too much. 1:30 on to Dragon. Looks like we'll have summoners across the board for that fight, so it'll be a good one.
Yeah, it has been a while since we've seen that fight, but this game is mostly about control here. I mean, Cloud9's game yesterday when they looked so good against Dignitas was a very low kill score for a while, with Cloud9 growing their advantage ever slowly. But against Winterfox here, their advantage is not necessarily growing that fast, but it's still by a little bit. They're mainly going to posture around this next dragon and hope to have control there. They have to do it soon, though.
A lot of focus here by Avalon and Helios in the top lane. Obviously, Void rushes up, so he can make it back down to Dragon. That's a plus for him. Cloud9 is going to head out of the base. Ready and raring to go. Just a few stacks, trying to check out the Rod of Ages right now. It looks like they're almost halfway done. And Merc treads really across the board for the tanks on this one. Balls and Meteos both focusing those to keep up in the fights.
Yeah, I think High needs to be going back to base, though. He's sitting on 1,500 gold and we're 30 seconds from the Dragon, plus he's on completely the wrong side of the map. That's a huge amount of poke Sneaky could get on to Helios, though, almost forcing him to recall before Dragon.
Not mistakes you want to be making. Should be able to get a little bit of health off of his bar once he goes into Burrow. We have Avalon backing. He can teleport up to this Dragon, and you can see that's what Cloud9's eyes are on as they start to rotate towards the bottom of the map. A huge fight can still come from Winterfox here, and we've seen that's why Cloud9's playing pretty respective in their pushes, in their warding.
Yeah, this is potentially dangerous for Cloud9. They still want to take the fight because they have the positioning, but High is sitting on 1,800 gold. That negates the advantage that Cloud9 actually has in this game, the fact that he has all that unspent gold in his pocket. It's going to be a positional battle, though. Let's see if anyone can get him engaged.
They posture for mid and try to dictate the fight. Gleeb onto LemonNation, maybe trying to get the Monsoon out before the rest of the team gets there. They're onto Pobelter immediately, but Meteos is forced to get out of the fight. Helios and Gleeb both go down as Winterfox has a little bit of trouble continuously heading into the fight. The Ignite does tick down onto Avalon, and Cloud9 assessed that one nicely.
If Cloud9 wins that fight, I'm hard-pressed to see them losing fights here.
Yeah.
They were sitting on so much gold from Kassadin. They were able to tick out Winterfox by the end of it. It wasn't even a... I'll have to watch it again to see how clean of an initiation it was by Winterfox, but the Rod of Ages were also not fully stacked up, so everything is pointing towards Cloud9 just getting stronger here. And they get the second Dragon.
Second Dragon, nice and easy after that fight. Kills actually going across the board as well, so everybody's getting a little bit. And Gleeb goes right for Elimination to start.
Yeah, I think he was hoping to stop the Janna ultimate and burst him down, but they weren't able to combo enough CC, and he gets out a somewhat full heal. Really strange target prioritization by Winterfox there. They did Lissandra ult on the Janna, who'd already spent the ultimate as well. So maybe I misspoke a little bit by Winterfox could not win a team fight. They played that team fight really poorly.
Right.
Targets selection-wise. But it does kind of underscore the fact that Avalon is really far behind. He blows his ultimate on an underfarmed support and still isn't able to do much.
It's who he's doing the most damage to. No,
I wish that were true.
He's doing what he can.
Yeah, I wish that were true.
Right.
But it's actually the AD carry he should be hitting with that. That's why you bring Lissandra.
It does actually have that null. It's a little bit of magic resistance. But I don't know if they can even get into these types of engagements. There's a twisted advance. Fence from Maelstrom on. They're actually going for Gleeb, one of the tankier champions right now on Leona, and they're able to take him down to about 20% HP. Things aren't looking good, and Cloud9, it looks like they're now not afraid to put on a little more pressure as they enter into the side of Winterfox. 20 minutes in here, and Cloud9 starts to dictate a few. We saw that mid push to take the turret as well just after the dragon, so they're getting what they want here in the mid game.
Yeah, it has been actually a relatively well-played game by Cloud9. Despite being surprised early on.
They're actually able to keep their wards up now, too. That'll make things just a little bit easier. Altec did pretty good versus Sneaky with the lane swaps going on. 192, 182. He's just a bit behind on what could be a Phantom Dancer or a Static Shiv. Probably a Phantom for him on Graves.
Altec has been edging towards the Phantom Dancer since he typically wants to hyper-carry these games. Graves, though, sometimes goes for more caster-heavy builds. He's going Static Shiv again. A strange little item pattern we saw with Altec. Start of the season, he was Avarice Blading really early and sitting on it. Yesterday, we actually saw him build 2 Brawler's Gloves instead of an Avarice Blade, just for more crit chance, and then he eventually built into a Static Shiv. Again, this game, we see him deprioritizing the gold generation of Avarice Blade with Zeal first.
Right.
Altec's actually more about early game and immediate power, instead of trying to get that little bit of extra gold efficiency off Avarice Blade.
It's good. I don't think anybody's really ever questioned the Altec play. He's always been a pretty solid AD carry.
Either side.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a wrong decision on whether you're doing an Avarice Blade first or a Zeal first. It's more of a preferential decision within the game, what you need at the time. And since Winterfox was playing from behind here, going for the Zeal first and hoping to win a team fight with that, little bit of extra attack speed and crit. Oh dear.
Oh dear indeed. It's going to be looking pretty tight on these ones. Meteos, where he was in the early part of the game after what we saw in the weird bot lane, he got a good jungle onto Helios, 12-10 right now. And that was actually, I wouldn't help the ultimate, obviously, for Helios, but C9 all hit level 11, level 2 ultimates before as well. So these fights are only getting harder for Winterfox.
He has home guard boots. He might
still
be trying to dash initiation here.
Oh, it was such a read, though. The team was already pushing them out. Avalon throws it. It's actually going to be the flash coming in, I believe, as well. That will be Avalon going down as the team cannot approach the fight as fast as he could. High will go down, however, but that's a lot of focus, and the back line was dealing some good damage. That was the assault and battery going in, but he gets taken down halfway through the ride. Gleeb goes in with the stun. That's the kill from Pobelter. They turn this one around in the blink of an eye. LemonNation could get hit up with the Foxfire. He will not hit with the Orb of the Deception, and LemonNation's forced to flash out, and what looked like a very telegraphed fight, Winterfox was actually able to pull off.
What not to do, Overaggression 101, displayed by both teams in that last fight. Like, the initiation with home guard boots was traveling way too far.
Right.
It was telegraphed, and we expected Cloud9 to turn around, which they did in a 2-for-1 fight, but then they overstayed again. I mean, watch this. Avalon, everybody knew what was happening here, and he burns his ultimate with no Zhonya's, so he's dead, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do there. And they're like, okay, great, we kill him, we can kill one other dude, time to back away. They trade 2-for-1 after this high kill. I feel like Meteos didn't realize how low he was. He's 1 hit from death. He's not able to lock down Pobelter, and then right here was a really nice outplay by Gleeb, flashing the stun into a charm. That was the moment in the fight where Winterfox did outplay Cloud9, but 2 mistakes before that, 1 by each side.
Definitely seeing a lot of individual play in these team fights right now. Hopefully they can start to sew it together and really get the fights to go their way without losing the majority of their team on both sides at this point. 30 minutes, or rather 30 seconds on the Dragon, as we're at 25 minutes into the game, and it looks like Cloud9 has actually gotten themselves quite quick back to where they need to be. High was just kidding. Just kidding.
That fight result with Pobelter picking up the kills, as well as Altec, makes this game really interesting now. Winterfox, while they are still behind, could very well win this game. If Pobelter gets the right stuff off on Ahri now, with his desk cap completed,
you kind of shovel dirt on everything you just did. Trying to shut down Pobelter, he just got all the kills he needs right back in the game. But now it's up to Winterfox to be able to carry that. The young team, if they can continue to go forth with this advantage. Just 1,000 gold down now, about 2,000 gold. They're able to pick up a little more if they can get to these next turrets, start denying more resources of Cloud9. But they're still afraid of the fight. They know that that fight happened because they were able to make a play. It's not going to happen just because they fight again.
Well, maybe it will.
The play, he tries to make it. Oh, they do it. Will they take down balls as well? They do know they need to make another play, and the play is made.
It's because they caught LemonNation. The thing that they didn't do in the mid-game team fight and looked so bad doing because they couldn't lock him down. This time they got the charm onto LemonNation and instantly blow him up. Plus they get the Dragon after this, which is not to be understated. The attack boost they get from that 26 minutes in is really, really valuable.
Whoa, a turnaround.
Boy. Charm. I mean, Pobelter made a play. Avalon was there as the distraction. He's like the fullback running in first. Pobelter goes in, scores a touchdown, lands the charm on LemonNation.
Dang, that was good. I like it.
That's what happened in that fight.
It did. Avalon's just free to fly into these and go down now. Pobelter is able to make the plays. He's got his backpack open, and he's squeezing every one of his teammates in now. 8-8 on the scoreboard. Still the same gold lead throughout that one. Obviously, Dragon not giving you any gold, so you can see Winterfox is trying to climb back in through just soaking up the rest of the map. Good items. 304 for Altec, 253, and he actually went static Shiv instead of the Phantom Bits. Yep. Fooled us. Got me this time.
That seal.
Bloodthirster is quite close to be finishing up for Sneaky, though, which would make these fights much harder unless he gets burst out like he did previously. But with Sneaky's positioning, I'm sure it will be a big boon for him once he gets that completed. Oh, all right. Okay.
Close one.
That was close.
Pobelter's got blue, though, which is
important.
Good. Winterfox really wants Avalon to be able to finish Zhonya's because then he can actually be the distraction that Pobelter needs. I'm also not entirely sold on LemonNation's ability to peel on Janna here. Lissandra's untargetable half the time when she's in your team. You blow away Ahri, and she comes right back because she gets 3 dashes. Well, yeah, Janna's the champion you need when you need disengage. It's not enough as the only disengage. Maokai can help a little bit.
Right.
But then if Cloud9 gets too concerned with peeling for Sneaky, they're not going to be able to do any damage on their own.
Yep.
It harkens all the way back to the draft phase when they're actually giving Winterfox what they want. Winterfox needs to be able to have everyone piling in. We've seen some desynced games from Winterfox when Avalon goes in on Gnar and everyone's like, whoa, man, you're crazy. What are you doing? But here, Ahri, no matter how far Avalon goes in, Ahri and Leona can catch up. Everyone else can dash in with them.
As long as it's not home guard.
Yeah. Even then, they almost did it.
Yeah, even then, they were really close, able to close that gap quite quick. Meteos using Raptor buff now. They're going to get cleared wards here. The buddy system for Cloud9, they don't want to get picked off in any of these fights. And we see the Winterfox is going to kind of dictate a little bit of pressure mid here. This is actually how they found their last fight, just kind of standing in mid. Quick teleport to the ward, which they've actually replaced the same one as well to continue vision if they are or are not in the mid lane.
I mean, Winterfox is ready to throw down. Cloud9 almost wants to beat them to the punch.
Balls goes in very hard. Actually down to about 10% HP. Nobody else has been able to do any damage. High was in Zhonya's. He may go down as well. Avalon throws down the Frozen Tomb. He's going to be safe for now. Gleeb gets onto Sneaky again. The Zenith plays, and Winterfox comes up huge with a 3 for 0.
Yeah, we saw it right there. Like, Cloud9 is not able to deal with the diving here from Winterfox. I mean, they blew up Pobelter and then just went straight for the AD carries. Too much mobility, too much closing. It's what won them the game yesterday, and it's doing it again here against Cloud9.
Just completely turning on the switch here. They're thinking of Pobelter and Avalon to be it, and then Gleeb's always coming in on another side.
I mean, Balls jumps into a heavily armored Leona. This is the same fight that Cloud9 won because Winterfox tried to hit their support. But Leona is a much harder thing to kill than a Janna. And they Did they even kill Gleeb at this point? They can't even finish him off before the fight ends. Just an atrocious initiation by Cloud9, enabling Winterfox to focus on the targets that matter and win the fight.
What?
Banner command.
I mean, he's going for the build. You're still
it works when you have Baron buff.
Where we're at.
Not sold without it.
All right. Very interesting. Still wanted the build. They're kind of headstrong on what they want to do this game, and they're not going to turn away from it. So the banner command does still come out for Lemon as he was recipeing towards it throughout the game. Maybe Baron will be in the near future. At least the fight. It'll be for Winterfox, if anything. Zanya's is finished up on the Avalon now. He has the 2 ways of invincibility to be that distraction, and Pobelter is just huge now. The Void Staff finished on top of the Abyssal Scepter and the Rabadons.
Yeah, no Zanya's on Pobelter, and that could be critical in these upcoming fights because Cloud9 does have burst damage and CC. They need to use that on the targets that they're able to kill. So if they can get Pobelter, the high or Altec, neither of those guys have many defensive stats right now, and lock one of those 2 carries down, they have a chance in these team fights. But if they continue to get distracted by Avalon with Zanya's and Lissandra ulting, or if they're jumping onto Gleeb for whatever reason, they will lose this game. They've already lost a few fights because of it.
Man, these picks really coming back to bite Cloud9. In the bottom lane, Winterfox with the Baron buff continues to push on to now the first inhibitor turret, 31 minutes in. And it looks like they're going to have all the damage they need. Usually you'll see a team kind of want to rebuttal there, but Cloud9 knows they have to stay at bay.
Cloud9 has incredibly limited wave clear. They only have Sneaky, and he would basically have to burn his culling just to get that down. Cast and Maokai do not do well when behind.
Well, Winterfox just pretty much waltz in, serve Cloud9 some tea, and take the inhibitor, make their way out, and that was easy peasy. Bloodthirster is now finished onto Altec, actually, as they were going into that, so he can even stay longer for these fights to provide more damage. Everything really playing in favor of Winterfox now as we've gotten past the mid game. Some places, or a place we've seen them falter, but here make some big plays.
What is going on in the world of Cloud9? Every time we feel like they're going to bounce back to be a top team in North America, they make some mistakes in these games. And then Winterfox as well, you know, sometimes just roll a D20 and play amazingly. They seem like the most inconsistent team. They looked so bad against Team 8 last week, and then both their matches here against
they could go 2-0 this week.
And Cloud9, when they have these team comps that can just dive straight in, it's something they do quite well.
Oh, there's the elixir onto Pobelter. He's feeling saucy, throws a little bit more damage on. More auto attack damage to turrets as well. That true hit. Feeling good, feeling like they have actually quite a bit of money. Actually, Pobelter himself, 2,000 gold ahead of high just in the mid lane, so they're really pushing the advantage as well here. Now to the top lane, and they're just going ring around the rosy as they have Baron accordingly. Textbook turret takedowns. It's easy to say, right?
Absolutely.
This one's going to be hit up, 33 minutes, and Winterfox, again, just safely walk out. Looks like the only test is going to come with the Nexus turrets at this point.
Perhaps. They did lose the Baron buff, so the ability to take this next turret's really difficult. If they dive, and then Cloud9 allows the turret to hit the diver and then focuses on the squishy targets, it's a fight they can win. Winterfox getting a lot of free hits on the turret, though. Good poke, though. That should potentially hold up Winterfox. Really
great. I love the Bloodthirster for that effect, is you can just get in there when it's charged, more shots on the turret, and it's really easy to take down. Saw Altec using that a little bit. He doesn't have any minions this time, though, so he's staying a little farther back. High, trying to clear. This is where we see the wave clear. Not so fantastic for Cloud9, and the turret will consistently take shots. It's only a matter of time. Rinse and repeat here for Winterfox.
Yeah, I'm wondering how patient they're willing to be here.
Cloud9?
They are Winterfox, actually, because they are, without Baron, not able to get many hits in, but you can kind of see how hard it is for Cloud9 to actually clear the minions, whether they're going to just kind of stall this out for the next Baron, or if they just want to go really hard for dive as soon as they see an opportunity. I'm hedging towards the more passive style of play right here, because Baron is in 2 minutes, and they've shown how easy it is to push with Baron buff. I think Winterfox will wait this one out.
We've seen a lot of teams actually take their time once they get to the inhibitor turrets. Big lead or not, 10,000 gold, 7,000 gold. It slows down. They want to make sure they get this one right.
The way they're sticking around makes me think at any moment Winterfox wants to fight.
Oh, High puts himself in a sticky situation. He actually cues the minion on that, missing a bit of damage. Solar Flare locks down both balls in Meteos. High to the back line. Pobelter now is actually very low. Does he decide to go in? But he retreats, still getting the kill onto High. That's a bit of burst damage they lose on the fight, and mobility that could really cause chaos. That's going to be 2 more down. Altec starts to pick up the kills, and the rest of Cloud9 is forced to turn away.
And there's an open inhibitor right now. That fight was initiated by Cloud9 because they thought they could lock down Pobelter, but the lead was a little bit too big. Gleeb used multiple active shields on Pobelter to keep him alive, and because of the down inhibitor and 3 dead, this could be gained.
Meteos, he goes in with 1 Vault Breaker. It's only going to be for his life, though, valiantly trying to protect the Nexus turrets and his own Nexus, but it's not going to be enough. Winterfox come out huge with the early game scramble to take down balls and continue it on to take down Cloud9.
Man, look at that. They were down in this game as well. Winterfox coming back. They were 2-4 heading into this week. They win both games against pretty highly touted teams, Impulse and Cloud9. The inconsistency is real with this Winterfox team, but they were consistently diving the enemy this week and doing it well.
That early game, it's still kind of going back and forth in my head to what would have happened if they didn't kind of mess up, right? Would it have been a much closer game all the way through? They came back, which impresses me more than, you know, the fact that that early gank worked, is that they got through the troubles. Avalon didn't let himself get down and actually became a big factor once he got to his Zhonya's. They kept their head in the game. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
That's what Lissandra needs to do. You need to get to your cooldown reduction and your Zhonya's. You did it. You're Lissandra. But until that point, he's not super effective. Because, honestly, because of the mistakes of Cloud9, and it really felt like Cloud9 fell apart in that game after a few lost team fights. It ended up being a very quick win. There were multiple fights there. Winterfox was the team with the initiation mostly, but the last 2 fights that were big and deciding were Cloud9 deciding to go in. Meaning that LemonNation's Janna pretty much useless in that case. They were never actually able to finish the target that they dove in on, which, to Winterfox's credit, they were able to capitalize on those fights. It was definitely not a top team in North America performance there from Cloud9 by any stretch of the imagination.
We heard